Unless you've been living under a rock, the past few years have been a roller coaster when it comes to the global supply chain. Just about every person in every industry on the planet has been impacted. For manufacturers, this problem has been particularly challenging as they directly impact and contribute to the supply chain. When challenges arise, it affects their ability to produce for customers and their ability to positively impact the supply chain downstream. Industrial air filtration can't fix the entire supply chain, but it definitely has more of an impact than you think. At US Air Filtration, we know that the right air filtration system will save you time, reduce expense, and help you avoid unnecessary shutdowns. But what does that have to do with the supply chain? Let's dig in. Thanks for joining us for Filtered on the Air, brought to you by US Air Filtration. My name is Julie Basello, and I will be your moderator and guide as we chat with US Air Filtration experts about how to manage dust collector supply chain woes. Our experts for this episode are Tim Keeter and Brent Bassett. Tim Keeter is US Air Filtration's hardworking, reliable, and multi-talented operations and equipment manager. When he's not busy being multi-talented at work or trying to take over the world, he loves spending his time barbecuing, riding motorcycles, and hiking with his dogs. Brent Bassett is US Air Filtration's fun, fearless, and dedicated parts sales manager. When he's not leading employees and customers to success, Brent loves to spend his time with family, being active, and doing anything in the great outdoors. He's an amazing surfer who recently took a dream surf trip around Indonesia. Wow, that's incredible. Well, we have our experts, and now it's time to dive into a very timely topic. I'd like to kick off this discussion by asking Tim, how has the supply chain improved or gotten worse over the past few years?
Well, I think the last few years have been rocky to say the least.
You think?
I think everyone, in every industry, even personal lives, have got to witness firsthand what the kink in the supply chain really looks like.
Absolutely.
Anywhere from our favorite snack to raw material to make, just everyday devices that we use. We all got to experience this.
You forgot the most important thing. Toilet paper. Remember that
Oh
one?
my gosh.
You
Yeah.
couldn't get a shelf that was full of anything. They were completely empty. That was the scariest thing.
Just everything in general that you would think of that should be on the shelves in your normal day life was just no longer there.
Right.
No industry was immune to these delays, and some sectors bounced back pretty quickly, and others are still in the process of recovering.
So, how do you think things are looking for 2023?
Well, I think over the last couple of years, we learned that predicting anything has gone completely out the window.
True.
Optimistically, it appears things have improved and shorter delays, and there's more things on the shelves, and we're seeing less and less of these kinks come up. But that's it's still hard to tell. There's still other places around the world that are still recovering. We like to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And I think one takeaway from the last 2 years is that we can all be better prepared.
Oh, absolutely. Brent, how do you think lead times are affecting customer buying decisions? Like, are customers more likely to keep things in stock now as opposed to before?
There are some companies who do have space to store the extra filters, have gone that route. More common that we see is people just try to order maybe a month or two sooner than they normally would. But that didn't always work out either because some parts would have multiple delays. So while they may originally think it's going to take 2 months to get it, well, here's a delay, here's another month.
Right. That's what makes it hard. Not to bring groceries into it, but for a moment, that was kind of what I think a lot of people also experienced during COVID is even if you tried to do things where you were having things delivered to you, say groceries, even that needed lead times that were astronomical, where you could order something before COVID and have it in 2 hours. You now had to wait 2 weeks for it. So I guess, buying parts is not much of an exception.
No, it's pretty similar. And some filters, like cartridge type filters, there's multiple parts on those. So all it takes is one of those parts to have a delay,
Oh,
and
yeah,
the entire filter is delayed that way.
that's rough.
So even planning ahead doesn't always guarantee you're going to get your items on time.
So, what do you recommend industrial manufacturers do to reduce supply chain delays? Should they sign up for a maintenance plan if it's offered? Should they keep spare sets? What's your recommendation?
Definitely having a solid preventative maintenance plan is key. If you're organized with your changeouts and you know when they're going to happen, you can order your things well in advance.
Right.
One thing that we can do for our longtime customers is we can help them realize their normal buying patterns. Oftentimes people just don't know. But if they've been ordering from us for a number of years, we can look at those frequencies, whether it's every 12 months, every 9 months, and then we can suggest a time to order with a little bit of a cushion, quicker than their normal frequency.
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure that's very helpful for customers. But what's involved in a good maintenance plan? Like, what if I want to go the maintenance plan route? How does that reduce challenges with the supply chain?
Just being able to be predictable, knowing what your plant is like. It can change. Some plants absolutely cannot run with clogged filters. So it means all production may stop. Other plants may be able to limp along, so they've got a little more of a cushion when they're ordering things. Obviously, if you're one of those plants that is going to shut down without your filters running at peak performance, then you need to be able to plan way ahead.
Wow. Do you get lead time with situations like that, or does the shutdown just abruptly happen? Meaning, like, does the machinery give you a warning your filter needs to be changed?
It does. There's a differential pressure is what the machine will tell you. So if your differential pressure is rising, you know that your filters are getting clogged. And if you know how often this happens, maybe they typically last a year. So your normal production schedule is pretty consistent, but you could just order a few months ahead of time.
Right.
Knowing when that happens is key. A lot of facilities will have a tough time because their production may change. They may run 24/7 for a couple months on a big project and then slow down for a couple months. So it's a little less predictable for some people that way.
So, because of the lack of predictability, and I think manufacturing in general has that issue, are a lot of customers purchasing backup filters now, or how has that changed over time?
Some people are, but there's definitely a lot of companies out there that just aren't equipped to store them, or maybe they just can't use their budgets, before the time has come. They have to wait for the next quarter or the next calendar year. Many are left having to push back the timing of their maintenance based upon when the orders are going to be delivered.
So, Tim, what are some of the challenges with having a backup set of filters besides the storage issue?
No, having a spare set of filters is always something we recommend. There's a few considerations with having to store air filters, and obviously the space, and that's not always acceptable, or there's not always a place set aside when people design their manufacturing facility. So there's other things like the temperature swings, moisture, any type of contaminants or pests, they need to be kept off the floor. So there's a lot of considerations to make when you're thinking about storing 100 filters versus 1,000 filters. But you know here at US Air Filtration, Brent's been coming up with a lot of different ideas on how we may be able to help with these situations.
Oh, I want to hear about this. Brent, tell us more.
Yeah, what we've done is we've developed, we call it our Stock and Go program. This is actually something we've been working on for a few years, but with so many different situations out there, we've kind of evolved to where we are now. So it addresses most issues that companies are challenged with these days when stocking the extra parts. Basically, how it works is that we'll make the filters ahead of time for people and store them in our warehouse. And that way, when they are ready for them, we can ship them out just within a day or two of them telling us. It takes away the stress and the headache from the ordering process and lead times. Just streamlines everything.
Wow. So they can actually just pay ahead and have it stored somewhere off site that they know is safe, climate controlled, no pests, etc. That sounds like an amazing solution.
Yeah, it's nice. They don't actually get invoiced until their products ship. And as soon as we ship their products, we'll go into production on their next round. So it'll be sitting there ready and waiting when they are.
There you have it, folks. Another informative discussion from the amazing experts at US Air Filtration. For more information about US Air Filtration or to contact any of our experts, please head to the show notes. As always, wishing you a day of clean, fresh, dust-free air. Thanks for listening.